But champ, you and I, you mentioned not only you were wrong, I was wrong as well, particularly with the Eagles Vikings pick. We picked Minnesota. Shout out to our good fella BRF Sports. He picked Philadelphia. I don't know what more could you ask from Jalen Hurts in that game because Minnesota, they had chances to win that game, and Carson Wentz, for whatever reason, he just made dumb, dumb choices. I mean, the pick six, okay, I can understand the pick six because you were about to get hit, but that second interception that he threw, terrible. And Minnesota Vikings, their defense, they tried to do everything they could to put pressure on Jalen Hurts. They did their part containing Saquon Barkley, but the trio, Jalen, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith had a career high as far as receiving yards. 9 for a buck 83, a touchdown, including that 79-yard touchdown. AJ Brown better not be complaining about getting his targets or his numbers. 4 catches, 121 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. But Jalen Hurts, a quarterback who is underrated, doubted, disrespected, 19 to 23, 326 yards. This is his first time in over a year he's had a 300-yard or more passing performance, 3 touchdown passes, and a perfect passer rating of 158.3. You got to tip your hat off to Jalen Hurts because without Jalen Hurts, how would the Philadelphia Eagles be? Again, this is not the time to question whether if he's top 5, top 10. It's just the time to acknowledge, let's just give the man his due. Let's do that. Can we at least do that? Can we at least acknowledge that he's a damn good football player? Someone that the Philadelphia Eagles are more than proud to have him as their signal caller. It's really not that complicated, big fella. But you got to give your hats to Philadelphia. Got to give your hats to Jalen Hurts, especially A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I am concerned, however, with the Eagles with them injuries because they're accumulating. And again, you look at the Giants Broncos game, the NFC East is open. So it's still open. It's still a chance for anybody. But what were your thoughts on the Eagles Vikings game? Because, man, Jalen Hurts, hell of a performance.
When it comes to Jalen Hurts, we all need to just be quiet. Enjoy what we're seeing. Look, I understand this, and I say this all the time. It's not the prettiest. He doesn't throw the nicest ball. His game, although he's a scrambling and a running quarterback, is not as smooth or as pretty as Lamar Jackson's or Josh Allen, something of that nature. But he gets the job done when he needs to get it done. I feel like a lot of times we kind of nitpick at it. He's kind of easy to pick at because he does have all these weapons around him. But let's keep this in mind. There's a lot of players who have those same weapons who are not winning. Keep it all the way above. And so, and the thing is, I feel like when we talk about Jalen Hurts, we often have to regurgitate the same information over and over and over again. Because the thing is, when it matters, he's coming through. And the Vikings are not a bad this is not one of those, Oakland Raider, Las Vegas Raider defenses that they're going
Brian
through.
Flores knows a thing or two about defense.
Yes, and the personnel that they have on that team. Wow. So for him to be able to deliver and with them keying in on the running game now more than ever, I don't think people are recognizing that. When you have a 2,000-yard rusher, they're going to key in on you now after that 2,000-yard year more than ever. They're going to key in on you. So, and look, people talk about the system. Jalen Hurts has had 5 different offensive coordinators in the last 4 years. So it's going to take some time during the course of the season to get used to a new offense. Do you know how difficult it is to learn a new offense in this league? Brand new. And now imagine that year after year after year. In the last 3 years, he's had 3 different offensive coordinators. So it's going to take some time for them to get in sync with this offense. It's going to take some time. So you have to ask yourself, was this the day that they finally was able to bring it all the way through and say, okay, here's the time. The time is now. Let's go ahead and let's push on through it. They were able to get AJ Brown the ball. They were able to get the other wide receivers the ball. They were able to be a factor in the passing game like no other time during the course of the season. I think we need to pump the brakes on wanting instant success, I will say. We all want that instant gratification. We all want it. We all want to be able to say he's going to go out here and throw for over 300, 400 yards today. And he just learned a new offense this early this year. He went from Shane Steichen to Bryant Johnson, then Kellen Moore. Now he has another one this year. What does people think that's going to happen? It's different. Look, when you go through a whole nother playbook, there's different paces, different language, different footsteps, different drops as a passer that you have to go through. It's not the same. But I always say this, Jalen Hurts needs, and Jalen Hurts, he always performs when he has to. He always is clutch when he needs to be. Like I stated, he's the modern day Troy Aikman, except he's a hell of a lot more athletic. Because Troy Aikman received the same criticism. He has a stacked team, even to this day in history. He has a stacked team. He has the all-time leading rusher. He had Michael Irvin. He had this guy. Anybody could and anybody couldn't do it on that stacked team. Remember, Steve? They tried to do it with Steve Walsh. Didn't work. So just acknowledge him. And whether he's top 5, top 10, that's up to discretion, because I believe that's strictly narrative based. But he wins when he has to. And that's all that matters that a quarterback does. He wins. Like I always say, in the great words of Dallas head coach Jimmy Johnson, don't be pretty, be good.
I would say Russell Wilson as well, too, champ, because Russell Wilson, when the Seattle Seahawks were winning, he wasn't getting enough credit. Because there were times you focused on the Legion of Boom defense, you focused on Pete Carroll, you also focused on beast mode. There was one particular game before the second Super Bowl champ, Russell Wilson, that NFC Championship game, he threw like 4 picks, but he was able to persevere and threw the game-winning touchdown in that overtime game against the Green Bay Packers. I also think he's also the modern-day Russell Wilson or Troy Aikman, because, again, they're stacked with great teams, but they're not getting the credit or recognition they deserve because they feel like if we put anybody under those circumstances, they would have done the exact thing and more. But we don't know. We'll probably may never know. But until we do, maybe we just got to give credit where credit is due. What I have a problem with some Eagles fans who shall remain nameless is that they make the argument for Jalen Hurts. Oh, see, this is why he's top 2. This is why he's top 3. That's the problem I have with some in the media and podcasters such as ourselves, because we do kind of get caught up into that type of stuff, champ. I mean, let's just keep it a buck. We do. I just think this is not the time or the day to do that. This is just the time or the day to acknowledge, hey, he had a hell of a football game. The Vikings had several chances to come back into that game. The Eagles defense did enough with the turnovers, and Jalen Hurts did not make any mistakes. He took care of the football. He's thrown 11 touchdowns. I'm reading the stats right now with Jalen Hurts. You look at it, his numbers, nearly 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception, a 108.9 passer rating. He's asked to do much more for this offense because of Saquon Barkley, because Saquon is not playing to the standard like last year. And it's hard for Saquon to do given the type of historic season that he had. You mentioned it on my pod, I think last week or a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Running backs who've had historic seasons, they regress. Jamal Lewis, Chris Johnson, countless others. So we can't expect Saquon Barkley to have another type of historic season. We do expect him to produce because he's still one of the elite running backs in the NFL. Although at this particular point, champ, right now, I think Bijan Robinson of your Atlanta Falcons right now is the best running back in the NFL. And also, too, because of the Madden curse and everything else. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Sorry to bring up Madden curse, but hey, I mean, people may make that argument. But either way, just got to give credit where credit is due to Jalen Hurts. Regardless of the circumstances, he finds ways to win. And that's really not that hard to admit or acknowledge. So just got to give credit where credit is due, man. As far with the Vikings, turnovers. And I don't know what's going to happen because we don't know whether JJ McCarthy may play, and the jury's still out on him because, again, durability problems. But at the same time, I don't want Carson Wentz because he's prone to make mistakes. And this afternoon was the latest example.
Basically, you put it all in a nutshell right there, because I'm hoping that JJ comes back and I know people are going to hold that Atlanta game against him, but keep in mind
that was a hell of a defense.
Exactly. And I know people are holding it again, but mind you, we just did the same thing to Josh Allen, and we all know he's a top 2 quarterback. So don't hold
no
that.
Shame.
No shame. Look, I'm hoping that I got to be honest. They haven't had a quarterback since a stable quarterback that wasn't injured or in and out of lineup. They haven't had a stable quarterback since Dante Culpepper for more than 5 years. And they haven't had a quarterback for 15, 20 years, with the exception of Fran Tarkenton. They haven't had that one. It's always been a revolving door with Minnesota. They've drafted great defensive players, great offensive players. They've drafted great running backs, and they've done a hell of a job at the wide receiver position. But they just don't have a quarterback that just can stabilize them. And that's what I'm hoping that JJ can eventually come back and do. But for now, yeah, Carson Wentz, you was able to see, that's the reason why you ain't at Philadelphia anymore.
And that's also the reason why Jalen Hurts was drafted in the second round. Because, again, they moved on from Nick Foles, and Carson Wentz already had durability problems.
Yeah. Not to mention interception problems.
Yeah, in 2020, you led the NFL in turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and another indictment on Carson Wentz, you had an opportunity in Indianapolis, your first year there. Frank Wright, your former offensive coordinator from Philadelphia, he admitted he did his part just to bring you there. You had the right type of circumstances, the offensive line, Jonathan Taylor. It was tailor-made for you to flourish. And you couldn't even win that last game against Jacksonville, given all the circumstances they went through that season with Urban Meyer, such as him kicking the kicker, the aftermath of the game against Cincinnati when he was at that club, all the things that transpired under Jacksonville, and you couldn't even do that and win that game. So that's exactly why he's where he is at this point. But just got to give credit where credit is due with Jalen Hurts.